Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Learning the Kitchen, I'm bringing you a very highly requested recipe for Easter, and it is just a roasted leg of lamb. Now, this is just a roasted leg of lamb that this is the only way really I ate roasted leg of lamb as a child, because this is how my nonna prepares it. So this is how I'm going to share it with you today. It's very simple, very easy, very delicious, and it's just what I know when I think of a roasted leg of lamb. And I had asked on Twitter a while back what you guys wanted to see for Easter, and like 99% of you asked for a roasted leg of lamb. And I'm thrilled to share it with you because I can see how it could be a little bit intimidating, but it really isn't at all. We're no chefy people around here. We just really love our home food, and this is something I grew up eating, so I'm thrilled to share it with you. The ingredients you'll need are very few and basics. This is a semi-boneless leg of lamb. You can see it's got a thin layer of fat on the very top. You can see from the side right here that it's not very thick, and I'm not going to trim that off. I'm just going to leave it on because that's going to provide mega flavor. So we have that. I've got some fresh rosemary that I've stripped off the stem, and I have some cloves of garlic that I've either halved or quartered if they're really thick. Then I've got a lemon here, salt and pepper, and a little bit of olive oil. Very simple, very easy. Let's get started. The first thing you want to do is you take a paring knife. You want to cut your garlic and your rosemary first. You take a paring knife, and you want to make slits, right? Like so. And then in those slits, you're gonna put in a piece of garlic. This is how my nonna makes it, and it just is phenomenal. And a piece of rosemary. And you're gonna do this all over the top, all over the surface of your lamb. And that's just going to infuse all the way into the meat, and it becomes just absolutely phenomenal. So I'm gonna do that, and then I will show you the next step. Now, once you have all that, I also wanted to point out that at this point, you want to make sure your oven is preheated to 425, and the fact that I'm putting this in a roasting dish with a rack over top so that all the fat can kind of drip down and the lamb isn't kind of roasting in its own fat would be the worst thing in the world, but that's not what we're looking for today. Now, this is what my nonna does. Now, when she makes lamb, she either cooks it with wine first, or if she's roasting it, she rubs it and squeezes a half of a lemon on it, because lamb has more of a distinct flavor, and this kind of I don't want to say cuts that, but it takes away that really strong flavor. And this is what she does, so I do it. If she's making a stew or something with lamb in it, then she cooks it in wine, and that kind of does the same thing. So I'm just, as you can see, I just took a half of my lemon, and I'm just kind of squeezing and rubbing all over the surface. Now I'm going to take just a small drizzle of olive oil. You can see not a whole lot, maybe not even a tablespoon. And then you want to make sure you generally season with salt and pepper. Lots of salt and pepper. That is just beautiful. Look at that. Okay, and let's go in with our salt. Don't be afraid if it looks like there's too much salt and pepper. Remember, there's a lot of lamb you season there, and all that kind of drips down into the meat. Unsalted or undersalted meat, to me, you can't come back from that. You can't just season it afterwards, because otherwise it just won't have a really balanced flavor. So now what I'm going to do for this size piece is about 4 pounds. I am going to stick this into my oven at 425 for 30 minutes, and then I'm going to turn the heat down to 350 and let it cook for an additional hour or so. It could take a little bit longer. It just really depends on what the temperature that you prefer to eat your lamb at. Mine, I like it about medium-ish, so around 155 degrees in Fahrenheit. When I test it with a thermometer, around 150, 155 is perfect for me. If you want it more rare, then by all means cook it less. It's a temperature thing. So I'm going to pop this in at 425 for 30 minutes, turn the heat down to 350 for an additional hour, or until it reaches my desired temperature of about 150 degrees. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's there. That is beautiful. I'm going to get this out of here. It was in the oven for a total of 30 minutes at 425, and then I turned the heat down to 350, and it was in there for an hour and 20 minutes exactly at 350 to reach an internal temperature of 150. I'm just going to loosely tent it. I have it here on a board, and I'm going to set that aside because I want to get going on making like a quick little gravy for it, which is what my nonna does. But first I'm going to remove the rack because I don't need that. Now you'll see how much fat it renders out, but you'll see I'm going to get rid of the fat because I don't need it. I'm gonna get rid of that, and then I'm gonna keep back just a little tiny bit, maybe a tablespoon or so, but what I want is those bits. You see those brown bits? That is mega flavor. So what I'm gonna do, and it's what my nonna does, I'm gonna add in a glass of wine, put this into the oven. The oven, remember, it's at 350 still, and I'm gonna leave that in there for about 10-15 minutes, however long it takes for those juices to get really nice, and it'll reduce a bit, but it gets nice and thick, and that's what I want. And I'm gonna pop that in there, and then the juices from the lamb and the wine, it all gets mixed together really, really well. But you know, I'm actually gonna grab some fresh rosemary leaves to add to that because that's what my nonna would do, and that's what I'm gonna do too. Just adding some rosemary in there, little bits of leftover rosemary that we had from stuffing it. Because that's what my nonna would do, and that's what I do. So I'm gonna pop this into the oven 10 minutes or so while the lamb is resting, and then that'll be it. This was in the oven for about 15 minutes, and look at that. It's thickened, it's got lots of flavor from the little bits from the bottom of the pan. Now that's the reason why, instead of adding my wine sort of halfway through the cooking to the bottom of the pan, I wait till completely the end, and then I can drain out all the fat because you could see how much fat was left in there, and that would just be completely overpowering. I did slice some of my lamb, and you can see it's really lovely and juicy. Now, the very outside parts, because they're thinner, they're going to be sort of more on the medium to medium well side, which personally I like, but I wanted to show you right here that the inside, this is what it looks like once you slice into it, because all the garlic and the rosemary, and as you get to the middle, it'll have like your medium rare temperature. So really, cooking it to about 150 degrees for me is perfect, but that's just the way I like my lamb. And again, you can cook yours for, oops, I can't find my spoon, here it is. You can cook yours less if that's what you preferred. So I'm just gonna take some of these really beautiful juices, and I just like to spoon some right over the top, and then you spoon the rest of it when people come over, and or you can slice the whole thing up if you wanted to and have it ready. My mouth is salivating because this is food of my childhood. This is simple home food that I just remember eating, you know, Easter, or my nonna does lamb a lot on Christmas Day. You guys know on Christmas Eve we do seafood, and Christmas Day we usually do like a baked pasta and a piece of meat, whether it's a roast pork, which is the pancetta roast pork that I made for Christmas this year, or you could do lamb. I'm just gonna give a little bite right here because I do actually have people coming over, and I want a little bit of that juice. And so it is so flavorful. Now garlic and rosemary really comes through beautifully, but it's not overpowering because we sliced the garlic really thin. It doesn't have sort of that raw garlic flavor. By the time it's cooked all the way, the garlic is it's kind of gone mild. It's just a beauty. I hope that you try this. I hope that this sort of takes out any of the mystery and wonder about making lamb, because I got so many people requesting it, and I just wanted to share with you a very basic and simple recipe that I know works every single time, and you can adjust again the temperature according to how you like your meat. If you want to cook a little bit less, cook it less. If you want to cook it more, cook it more. I like it somewhere in the middle. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me. Go to laurainthekitchen.com for the full written recipe step by step. As always, I hope you have a wonderful holiday and a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going back in.